Manhattan was like a faraway place. It was like
Yeah.
Neverland to me as a kid.
Wow.
And it was like, you're going on the train, we're going to the city. And that was a big deal. And and now the city is here. Before it was the poppin' place to come to, it was already cool. My uncle used to bring home 45s. I had an obsession with music from that. So I went on into the music business, became a DJ, worked on a bunch of radio stations, but more importantly was I started the show called Video Music Box, which is where a lot of people knew me in the 80s when music videos were really popular. And there was no cable then, so nobody had MTV or anything like that. And the only way to see music videos was on my show, Video Music
You were a
Box.
pioneer.
I was a pioneer, yes.
Very cool. So you're original Brooklynite then?
Yes. Bed-Stuy.
I'm a fraud.
Bed-Stuy, do or die. Bed-Stuy, do or die, Bed-Stuy.
Wow.
I'm a Brooklynite, yeah.
See, I've picked Brooklyn. I had to come a really far way to find my home. I grew up in Switzerland, in the Swiss mountains. I had a ski lift outside my house that would put lights on at night.
Wow.
So I would go skiing at night.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But then I came to New York in 1999 for what was supposed to be a 3-month internship. I was able to build out one floor here as a co-working space. It's called Friends Work Here, where I rent out desks to people in the creative community. I'm a big believer that if you want to live a courageous creative life, you need to have people around you that support you.
That's true.
And that's kind of what we're creating here. And then I run another company downstairs on the second floor called Tattly Temporary Tattoos, actually 2 more companies, and Creative Mornings. And Tattly sells temporary tattoos by real artists. It's kind of silly, and I always laugh when I talk about it. But Creative Mornings, the other entity that I run, is a lecture series that runs in 157 cities around the world every month.
Wow.
Put on by volunteers, where we organize a lecture breakfast once a month all around the world. This neighborhood needs something like this. We need artists in, because the creatives bring culture.
I can remember, Jay-Z is a big time, owner of companies and things, but at one point he was just this young kid coming out of Marcy Projects in Bed-Stuy and coming up to me and saying like, yo man, I want to get on, and and I want to for real, and he mentions it in his, in one of his songs, I think it was one of his songs to his mother. And then one time I met his mother, I was on a panel, I didn't know it was his mother.
Yeah.
And she said, I know who you are. My son used to watch you every day coming home from school.
Man.
And so I've been able to take guys like him and Notorious B.I.G., rest in peace, and all of these different MCs and artists and rappers and bring them to a platform like mine, which was on TV. And up to that point, if young people were on TV, it was probably them getting pushed into a cop car. And so my whole thing was, if I'm going to put people on a platform like this in TV, I'm going to make them look good. And so that was the platform that I created, Video Music Box.
I moved here not knowing a soul. And it's really interesting when you move somewhere where you don't know anyone, and you have to be very intentional about building community and who your friends are.
I understand what it is to bring people together. I do it, I'm also a party promoter.
So there you go.
So I understand what it is to bring different cultures together, and not just for music, but like artists, painters and, and dancers. Yeah, and I can understand this space.
Yeah.
I can understand
It's my happy place.
Yeah. One of the things about Brooklyn is that it has everything. I remember my father, he took me to a deli. Now this was a Jewish deli, like kosher deli. And I felt like I was in another country when I was in that deli, because I've never seen these foods. They were eating different, and the Hasidic Jews were there, and I was like, who are these people and why do they look like this and why do they eat different food? But this is what Brooklyn was and is still to this day.
Yeah.
From me growing up in Bed-Stuy having soul food to a kosher deli to Italian restaurants in Bensonhurst or Irish. My last name is McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother on St. Patrick's Day would make corned beef and cabbage. These are the things that was just normal to us in our everyday life, but they all happened right here in Brooklyn. And I think that that's always what's intrigued me about Brooklyn, the different people, the different foods. I went to school in Long Island and then I moved back to Brooklyn, to Flatbush. And my mother was like, "Why are you going back to Brooklyn? We were trying to get out of Brooklyn." And I was like,
that's what everyone says, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I just can't help it. Yeah. I have to go back.
Yeah, see, I don't think I can ever move away from Brooklyn. To me, as having grown up in Switzerland in the Swiss countryside, and now being a mom and I have 2 kids, raising them here in this neighborhood. I live in Fort Greene, but they go to school in Birmingham Hill. And I just got the school pictures of my daughter's school, and I look at it and I was like, this is amazing. When I just look at the diversity of Brooklyn, like it's just astonishing and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like this is what I want my kids to grow up in.
Yes.
And just her understanding of we're all the same. It's really beautiful. The momentum that there is in Brooklyn, that this energy around let's create, let's make, let's build, let's push, and the support you get when you are excited about something, it's not something that I could have done in Switzerland. It's cool. To me, as someone who chose to live in America, to chose to live in Brooklyn, to make this my home, what I love about living here is that it just allows me to be who I want to be, which as much as I love Switzerland, you can't. There's a lot of what will other people think going on, sort of I need to fit in, I need to make sure. And it always struck me when I first moved here that you can be who you want to be. Like I remember when I got married, we took the subway to a second wedding party. I told my husband, we're gonna take the subway because I want to take the subway. I want to be in a wedding gown in the subway. And he was just a good sport. He's like, all right. And my friend who's a photographer came along. I just love the fact that not one person turned around. I was like, this would never work in Switzerland. And this is just a small example, right? And so this notion of you can be who you want to be has allowed me to create such a unique career path as well, like side projects that have organically turned into businesses. I don't distinguish between my life, personal life, and my work life. To me, it's like all kind of, it's like it just flows into each other. And I think Brooklyn has allowed me to create this world that makes me happy, and that is very much just a reflection of my values and who I am. And I don't think this would be possible in that many other places.
It wouldn't be. You can't do that in Staten Island.
Oh, maybe you can. I don't know. Can you?
Only Brooklyn.
Only Brooklyn.
Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.